And also then with Fearless, you did the summit.
Mm-hmm.
How was that? How did you came up with the idea of doing the summit? Also, the COVID hit,
Yeah.
right, while you were
Yeah.
doing the summit. So can we learn a bit more about that?
Sure. So I had gotten the Disney show, and then while I was at Disney, I had been asked to speak on a lot of different panels. And at this point, I really was talking about entrepreneurship, how to build a business, how to build a personal brand through a lot of my social media. TikTok at this time had not come out. So it was just on like the website, Instagram, the Disney show. And so I was going to a lot of these conferences, and I realized that I would walk away from them and I was like, this is not a fit for me at 18, 19. Like, I don't know any of these topics. This feels very far, like, advanced for me at my age. And so I just had the idea, and I was like, I'm going to call a bunch of people that I know. At this point, I had interviewed a ton of celebrities, like a ton of successful people, and had just created really authentic relationships with them. And so I just thought, like, these conferences are cool, but I'm just going to make my own. So I literally, off the cuff, was like, I wrote like a small business plan and was like, I'm going to send this out to a bunch of places and they're going to say yes. And this is going to be just so easy. And all my like famous friends will come in one room and then that'll be it. Which is why, like, looking back, I mean, the name that I chose, it sounds cute, but like, had I planned to make it into something, I would never have chosen that name. It was just very obvious. And so I did. I pitched it out for a year. I got no response. I was very frustrated. And so I went to the Pennsylvania Conference for Women, and there was a woman there who had a booth from Drexel University. And I walked literally, like, I beeline right to her after I spoke, and I just was like, hey, I have this idea. And I literally was like laughing. I was like, literally no one wants it. I'm pretty sure it sucks, but like, out of interest, in case you want it, it's really cool. I want to bring a bunch of people that I know together and speak. And she was like, oh, this is really interesting. Like, we should set a meeting. And I was like, okay. So I like emailed her this business plan over, got a meeting with everyone at Drexel. And I went, I stayed in Philly, and they were like, we'll give you the space, but we won't pay you anything. And so what ended up evolving is I put together in like 4 or 5 months this insane conference, like 500 students. I had sponsors. I lost money on it, but I was able to make close to what I had. Put on credit cards and debt to do it. And it ended up being like back-to-back panels and a full catered lunch by Shake Shack. So during it, the planning of it was incredibly overwhelming. It was so stressful. I had never done something like that before. But the after effects of it, the response from people was so positive that I just was like, wow, maybe I'm onto something. And so I ended up pitching it also to UC Berkeley, Vanderbilt, and that's when COVID happened. So we did some virtually. And then last year actually was the first two colleges that have paid money. So UConn paid and Central Connecticut State University paid. And now with Grasshopper, we've decided no longer to like rely on the colleges to pay, but we'll host Grasshopper sponsored summits next year. That's a long story, but that's kind of how it evolved.